collaboration at Newmarket Middle has improved both teaching and learning. Everyone's voice is heard, and the level of thinking that we're able to achieve as we share ideas and edit and revise together is amazing. And in addition, things that seemed questionable or difficult are becoming manageable. We have ELT collaborative projects happening, and we're synthesizing synthesis, hopefully, plus getting ready to do book brackets with analogies between books and teams for NCAA.
So I was asked to talk about feedback, and I believe what they meant by that was having conferences, because I do a feedback with my students when they're working on narrative writing, and we get feedback about how they're writing. But the feedback that I want to talk about is about having individual independent conferences with my kids. And when I started, needless to say, it was hard to find the time to do it. In fact, it was impossible. And in order to set it up, and I really wanted to set it up, I had to cut something out, and I had to let something go. And I decided I would continue to do that if the positives of the conferences outweighed the negatives of letting some of these other things go in the schedule. And so I started, and at first it was difficult. I had 5 language arts classes at the time, and really I could only conference with each student within a 2-week period. Now it's easier. I have 4 Read 180 classes and 1 language arts class, and I can conference with each student once a week, which is what I try to do. Don't always get everybody in, but I get pretty close. So one of the things I noticed when I started the conferences was that misbehavior started to decrease. It seemed as though the tone of the class, it set a better tone for the class. And I got the feeling that there was, it sort of instilled a camaraderie with the class and the teacher, as in we're all in this together and we're working on this together. It's not like a me and them situation, but it became an us situation. And the other thing I noticed is that academics started to increase, because what I would do is, it's very simple. I would just bring up, at the time I was using Pinnacle, now I use Hack, but I would just bring up their scores online and we'd look at them. And I tried to make it so that it was very positive and not a negative thing. Even if they had low scores on there, I still wanted to talk about how much they had, where their progress was. And if there was a weakness, if there were some low scores, what could I do to help them with those low scores? If there were assignments that were missing, which was, that was most of the problem for a lot of the low scores. How could we get some of those assignments in? What could I do to help them get some of those assignments in? And so they got the feeling, I believe, that I was there to help them. That one-on-one conference became sort of a bonding thing with everybody. And so there were moments, of course, where there's the teacher and the class, but then here in these conferences, it really just became me and the student, just the 2 of us. And it wouldn't take long. We would take about maybe a minute and a half to go over things and talk about things. Sometimes, I'd say, how you doing? You look like you're not feeling too well. I'm glad you're back because you were absent for a couple of days. Are you feeling better? And just things like that. But I just tried to set up a really good, positive thing. So when I called them up for a conference, they wanted to come up for a conference. It wasn't a bad thing. It was like a positive thing. Oh boy, I have a conference with Mr. Newhouse today. And we would settle into just a one-on-one positive bonding experience. And I think it turned out to be really, really a really good thing. And so the positives definitely outweighed the negatives when all was said and done.
Hello everybody. I've been asked to talk about bell-to-bell instruction, and that is giving instruction to students for when they first walk into your classroom to when they leave. And I have to be honest with you, not every day do I accomplish that goal. Some days my instruction at the beginning is not great, or sometimes my lesson ends before class ends. But my goal every day is to make sure that when students come in, they're getting the instruction they need, they're getting the feedback they need, they're getting my full on attention. One thing I'll tell you that might help you with getting to be better at bell-to-bell instruction is reflection. Thinking about how the day's lesson went, how you can improve it, and the second thing is getting a bag of tricks together on what happens if my lesson doesn't go well, or what happens if I don't end my class on time, or I'm not able to start on time. What things can you have students do or work on or learn to make sure that they're getting the full time in your classroom? Now, like I said before, I don't reach that every day, but the goal is every day I get to that level. So, if you need help with that, reach out to another teacher at our school. A lot of us have a lot of unique skills, a lot of unique tricks that we do with students to help them learn and help them grow. So make sure to reach out to a colleague and talk about how you can make sure that the students are getting the maximum amount of time in class and the maximum of effort by you. Thank you.
CFIP, Classroom Focused Improvement Process, uses real-time data, content grade level specific, values teacher input as most important instructional decision maker.
Formative assessment. I use Pear Deck in my classroom daily. Provides the ability to monitor all the students in the classroom. Gives it instant feedback. Also, students who are typically not active participants are more likely to participate when we are using Pear Deck in the class.
I'm going to talk to you about catch and release. You want to catch the students by engaging them in an initial activity, direct instruction, and then releasing them into your classroom environment so that they can collaborate and investigate with students, small groups, or as a pair.
All right, good afternoon, Newmarket Middle School. It's Mr. Johnson. I'm here to talk about relationships. Building relationships, in my mind, come on 2 key points. First key point is trust. You need to have trust with the individual that you are trying to build a relationship with. Second thing that needs to happen is you need to have open and honest communication. Sometimes that's hard because sometimes you might hurt somebody's feelings, but at least they always know where you stand. You can build these things in 3 key areas, I say. The first key area is to always accept people for who they are. Never try to get them to change on what you want. Let them be who they are, you be who you are. Always want to ask questions and be genuine in those questions. You want to try to get an understanding of who that individual is and be proud of who they are. Get that general interest. And the last thing that you always need to be is be yourself. Never want to be fake. People should accept you for who you are. You should accept them for who they are, and always be yourself. Relationships are key to having a successful, healthy life. Thanks.
Reflect in order to transform teaching and learning for 21st century learners. In order to grow and improve, we must reflect. We must be willing to take chances, make mistakes. We can learn from them. Remember, reflect daily, weekly, and annually to improve. You can do it. Mission possible.
Next part of Mission Possible, goals and expectations. What kind of goals? Hockey goals?
No.
Soccer goals?
No.
Field goals?
No.
No. Goals, we're talking about plans. We're talking about having a purpose. We're talking about objectives. We're talking about a mission. We can't just wander about aimlessly, not having a plan. In order to accomplish things, we need a goal. Companies have a goal. Parents have a goal. Teachers have goals. Students need goals. We can start with a big goal, which can sometimes be overwhelming, such as cover everything you need to in term 3. We gotta break that goal down into its separate pieces. What's that look like? Daily objectives, checklists, to-dos. Break it down even further if you need to. Focus on increasing a small bit at a time. Take the steps to meet your goal. Put the pieces of the goal together and bam, shazam, the last piece of the puzzle falls in to meet the goal. So let's recap. Should we wander about aimlessly?
No,
We talking about field goals?
no.
No, we're talking about big goals, breaking them down to smaller goals with a plan, a purpose. Mission possible.
Okay, growth mindset. So growth mindset, I just love the way the teachers here have had the growth mindset with taking risks and taking challenges, trying new things, and it's really even reflected with the kids. I just had a group of students in today, and they said how much they love and how much more they're doing with technology in the classroom than they were even 5 or 6 months ago. So keep it up, great job.
They asked me to talk about feedback, and when I started, needless to say, it was difficult to find the time.
Good morning, Junior Lanes at New Market Middle School.
We can prepare for. I need to redo this. I need to redo it. I thought I had it. I didn't. I didn't have it. I got it now.
And now I'm starting to stutter, so we're gonna have to redo this.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay.
I'm trying to think of the other.
Make the goal work. Oh jeez, wait, I think I got them out of order. Hold on, pause it. You can.
Growth mindset.
Growth mindset, bulletin boards look great. Right?
Yeah, and then you keep going though.
All right, great. But he's not videoing.
I know, okay. I'm just, we do this a lot.
Yes, I am video.
Are you videoing?
Oh my gosh, he's getting off it. Oh my gosh.